This week on the show, it's the great debate. Well, maybe not so great, and maybe not a lot of debates. There wasn't much to talk about, so Gallios picked some topics for Kora and Gord to quasi-debate over. Some of the topics and the responses may just surprise you. We also have what we call news, and Gord's ready for vacation. We take on all the heavy-hitting topics on Shadow of the Dragon. Welcome to Shadow of the Dragon. This is episode number 43. And I'm pretty stoked. I blow your eardrums out?
No,
it's the we're on episode 43. How'd that happen?
Feels like we just recorded last week.
Well, that means that Kora has been on for almost 30 shows now.
I know. That's wicked cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, what did I joined on episode 14 or something?
You were the prize to our giveaway. Well, not really the prize, but you were part of the prize to the fans who didn't get the 2,000 gems that we gave away.
They got to hear my lovely voice instead.
You make people fall in love. Saw Red wants to meet you.
Dude.
Who wants to?
They fall in
Saw
love
Red.
quickly.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Multitudinous.
So what you guys been up to? Oh, well, before we get into anything, we should explain. Kora is leaving. Today's Monday. We usually record on Friday. Yeah. Kora's leaving tomorrow for one of her things, and I'm going away for the weekend. And Gallios just got back yesterday, so this was like the best time to record, get it edited. The big snafu with that is we are going to miss the PvP update, but we're going to cover what is reportedly coming in, and I don't expect much more coming in from aside from that. So that's that. So it's out there. Transparency everywhere. Transparency.
Like my hair. My hair is really transparent.
And all the colors are right.
Not.
Anyway, what have you guys been up to?
Gallios, you go first.
Okay, I was going to say, why don't I go first? Because there's been a little excitement for me and my family.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh. Yeah, my brother, my younger brother, Scuba Steve, that many of you have heard before, got married Saturday.
Good man.
Aww.
And it was fantastical that he got married because we thought he'd never get married.
Congrats, Scuba.
But yeah, he met a fantastic, beautiful, wonderful woman who fits right into our family. And they are out right now enjoying their honeymoon in Tennessee. So I want to say hello to them real quick. Hello, guys. Have fun. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, that was the RL. And I, of course, have been playing Guild Wars 2 when I get a chance, and seeing as, all the excitement over World v. World, you can guess where I've been. Last
PvP?
Wednesday, I actually pinned up, unintentionally drew a crowd, and had a blast. It was almost as good as my original commanding back in the day.
It was pretty good. It took you a while to shake the rust off, but it wasn't just random peeps. Like, we started our Havoc group on Wednesday, and we got a lot of support from Lux when they're pinned down. We got a lot of support from HCH, and we had a pretty good group.
Yeah, DOL as well.
Yeah. So, man, I'll touch on it in news, good. But yeah, it was good.
The last battle before I had to leave, the old me came out, and it felt really fun. It felt good.
It was good. I thought you lost it, buddy.
I
thought you lost it.
You thought I lost it?
Yeah, I thought you lost it.
I did lose it. I can't call combat nearly as good as I used to, but it came back in that last battle. I don't know. I just was saying what I was thinking instead of thinking before I was saying.
Yeah.
Because in my brain, I was thinking, okay, these guys need to do X. Like, they got to do this now.
Yeah, but it was nice because there was a lot of people who knew what should be done, and there was a lot of people who just followed, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
So it was a good
was
mix.
fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Saving Firekeep was the best one.
That was the one.
That was the best one.
Those puppies, those guys thought that they had us dead to rights. They went and balled up, and we just melee bombed all over their freaking face, and they didn't know what to do because they blew their wad. Awesome. It was done. We pushed them all the way back against the wall and just ate them for dinner. Love it.
I don't think I've yelled in a really long time. And all I could remember, I only remember bits and pieces of all your freaking damage on my pin right now. All damage on my pin right now. Stabilities on my pin. Everybody drop everything you got on my pin right now. And they did it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it worked well.
It was fun.
The first night.
That's really pretty much all I did. And I basked in the glory of that accomplishment on Thursday morning. And then it was over.
Yeah. I went in Thursday or Friday night and ended up pinning because there was nobody on the map. I said, screw it. And me, Tenkin, and Cypher came for a bit and a couple other guys. And, I was up playing late and I finally get up and go to bed. And my fiance informed me that I was so loud in my basement office that I was not allowed to sleep in the bedroom that night. So dang. I apologized quite a bit. Fended off her shoves till she fell back to sleep. She was pretty mad at me though.
Dang.
That's how loud I was.
You're gonna have to soundproof that room.
I'm thinking maybe I should not move next to my room now.
New office is getting soundproof. So Kora, what have you been up to?
In real life, my contract, the job that I'd been working 6.5 months, ended on Friday. And my department had a tradition where when it's your last day, they slow clap you out. Like one person starts it and then the slow movie clap. And I've done it a few times. And just was like, oh, this is just a funny tradition we do. And man, I gotta say, when it's your turn, it hits hard. I was not expecting to feel any. I thought it was like, oh, this is just funny tradition. I'm getting my slow clap out. And as I was walking, like I had to hold it together. I'm like, just turn the corner so they can't see. And my eyes were welling up. I mean, that it was just such a unique and nice way for them to say, non-verbally, we appreciate all the hard work you did while you were here and you're going to be missed. We acknowledge that you existed and your presence, your absence is going to be felt. And it's, and good luck on your next adventure. And I wasn't expecting all of that context in it. So yeah, my eyes were welling up as I walked out of the building that last time. But that was really cool. I mean, that's just a really fun tradition that they do. And today I filed for unemployment. So that was a thing. So real life is going to be very interesting very soon if I can't find another full-time job or contract or something. But I've got some feelers out, so hopefully something will come my way. And we'll see what happens in that regards, because otherwise I won't be able to play Guild Wars for a while because I'll have to pack up all my stuff and couch surf again. But in game, I got on the other night. I saw some of my old guildmates were on, which I hadn't seen them in a long time because everybody kind of abandoned ship when Black Desert came out. And they all went to that. And so a couple of them were just randomly on. So I said, hey, and they're like, oh, we're in TeamSpeak, get in. So I had to re-download TeamSpeak. I haven't played with them in so long that I was like, well, I don't need TeamSpeak on the computer, so didn't have it. Re-downloaded TeamSpeak, got on. We were in TeamSpeak. We were playing, I cannot tell you how many hours. We did Fractals, where basically they just dragged my dead body through fractals that were too high of a level for me. And then spontaneously, at like 2 a.m. my time, we did World Boss Train. Like, we started a World Boss Train. It just happened. And so we did that for like an hour, and at 2 a.m. It was crazy. It was crazy and it was fun. And I'm sure tons of people were like, why is there a World Boss Train happening right now? It was great. So that was just a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun getting on and talking with them because I hadn't heard their voices in like a year. So that was a lot of fun. So I will be maybe playing some tonight, some tomorrow, but I'm gonna be out of town for about a week, so I'm not gonna be in game at all, but I'm gonna be doing some fun stuff. So
that's good. Everybody needs fun once in a while.
Oh, yeah. What about you?
I've been doing the W-Dub. I've been experimenting for science with outnumbered pips, and yeah, I've developed a strategy where if I'm defending the map, I'm basically just popping boosters and gaining rank. I've gone up. I'm up around 907 now for my world rank, which is good. I still have like another 493 ranks to go to get to the next level pips, and I still have 1093 ranks to go to get to the tier 3 armor. So I got a ways to go. So I split it now. If I'm fighting for the world, then I am just working on rank. I don't care about pips, so I stay in my map and I go where I'm supposed to go. But when I'm done fighting for the map, I find the outnumbered map and I have a little strategy for farming, because you can't really take stuff in an outnumbered map, but killing sentries and guards will refresh your participation. So I kind of just...
Somebody's got a back cap.
You can't even back cap. Well, I mean, if there's enough people on, you could probably back cap, take a camp here or there, but the blob will find you. At least that's how it was last week. So that's really all I've been doing. I'm still doing some Draconis Mons farming here and there. I want to finish my Druid backpack so I could skin it over, because the finished product is too tree-like. I don't like it, so I'm going to skin it over with my blades I got from Scarlet, the back blades. That's it.
I'm wishing I could sell my outfit back, because I bought it thinking, oh, this is going to be funny. It's absolutely horrible looking. You know which outfit I'm talking about?
The Druid outfit. The Druid outfit, yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah. It is horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't fit Big Burly Norn.
No, it doesn't fit a Norn at all. And that's the bad thing, is the ranger I have is a Norn, and it won't fit a Char. But the only thing it might look good on is a Sylvari. Don't even look good on human.
Sylvari look best in plant armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wish I could give that one back.
You're stuck with it now. Can I
trade this in for something else?
Listen, there's no sense in buying outfits. You know, if you're going to spend the money on outfits, if you buy an outfit a month, you might as well just save that money, buy keys, and get guaranteed wardrobe unlocks.
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20. I stopped buying outfits. I don't buy them anymore.
I have all my Lobby armor, like all the crafting skins are open, all the packed whispers and all the orders. That's the word I'm looking for. I have all those skins. All I really have left is Black Lion stuff. So it's more worth it for me to try for the guaranteed wardrobe unlock. So,
yeah.
At least in my
Well, cool.
All right, that's it.
Very, very cool.
Short week between recordings, short list of things to do.
Yep.
All right.
This is my short list.
All right, so that's going to do it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're back.
Yay! It's like we didn't leave.
We actually took our break before the break. All right, so this week, yes, I know by the time you're listening to this, the PvP update will have dropped, but we are recording the night before, so we're just going to acknowledge that the PvP update is coming. And I don't expect anything much more than what they've said. So what is coming? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay, so season started, which was weird. This confused me because the season started. So what we're getting this week is the automated tournaments and the changes in the Heart of the Mist. Now, I don't know what format the automated tournaments are coming in, but I think it was kind of weird and funny at the same time that they opened up their blog post with get good GITGUD. Like, I don't know who wrote that, but anyway, automated tournaments are the new peak of player versus player competition in Guild Wars 2. You'll be able to compete in 3 different daily single elimination tournaments as part of a 5-person team to earn gold and qualifying points, the latter of which can land you a spot in the monthly tournament. These tournaments will offer some of the most prestigious prizes in Guild Wars 2 PvP, including the glorious Heroes Armor Set. Monthly tournament winners can also earn Mystic Coins and Llama Minis, and their likenesses will be sculpted into statues to stand at the PvP lobby entrance as a challenge to all competitors until the next monthly tournament. Dun dun dun.
I mean, I'm all for having a statue of Kora and my own unique armor and like llama minis, but let's be real, that's never happening for me.
Yeah.
It makes 2 of us, dear.
Yeah, same here. I will compete, but maybe in 2019 I'll compete because there's too much WW to do before then. So what else is coming? More changes. They've changed the entire Heart of the Mist PvP lobby. So it's got a whole makeover. It still includes the training golems, merchants, a banker, and so forth. But they're just giving it a new environment and layout. You can explore crumbling ruins and shattered islands, slug it out in a free-for-all brawling area, and keep an eye out for some hidden surprises. So that's pretty good. And the last part of this update is going to be the new PvP lobby includes Champions Rest, a lounge reserved for the best of PvP players. This exclusive earned prestige area provides convenient access to crafting, the Mystic Forge, your bank, and the trading post. Players in Champions Rest can even add a little extra danger to the fighting pit below with special consoles. Gain access to this privilege by proving your worth in PvP League, seasons, and monthly tournaments. So that's a thing too. So that's pretty much what's coming in. I don't expect too much more. We do know from the pre-recorded Guildcast that aired last week that they will be changing the loyalty bonus pip to a commitment pip because I guess the wording of that pip was more important than the outnumbered buff. So, but I'll get to that. So you guys will already know what you have, but we're recording the night before, so that's just the overview. We'll see what else comes in. Any thoughts, guys?
On PvP?
Yeah, it's on PvP.
Oh, I wish I could give more thought on that, but it's nice to see they're doing something a little fun.
Yeah, I think
it sounds fun.
I think the environment overhaul is much needed. It was a big area, and it's nice to mix it up every now and then. So we'll see.
Yeah, might be fun. We'll see what it looks like.
All right, so that's that. Hopefully we don't look stupid now that everybody's played it for 2 days.
Yeah, right?
All right, so the next story we have, there is now a non-Patreon version of GemFX available. And Kora, this should excite you.
What?
GemFX, the new shiny.
I know, I tuned right in.
So I've seen this before. I've seen videos of it, and it's only been available through if you supported the Patreon. I don't like supporting things until I get my hands on them, so I didn't. But now there's a non-Patreon version available. So what's going to happen is the public version is going to be the public beta version, and I believe that any updates to that beta version will go to Patreon players first, or patrons first, and whatnot. But who cares? Because now we actually can use GemFX. This is not affiliated with Reshade, so it got a little confusing. Reshade used both SweetFX and GemFX and used the best of both with some other Master FX or some weird thing, but it combined everything together and gave you the best effects that you could. I used it for a long time, but Reshade 2.0 was a lot easier to use for me than Reshade 3.0, and maybe people don't, I don't know, maybe people had a better understanding and think I'm insane, but I just didn't like the way Reshade 3.0 looked, so I took it off and haven't used one. So the videos that I've seen of GemFX look really cool. So we'll have links to the show notes in that. I do recommend at least putting it in. It is in beta, but it's a pre-release version. Check it out because it did some pretty sweet stuff. and supposedly it's better and safer than Reshade.
Very cool.
Very cool.
I might have to figure out how to do technology to install that.
There's a nice walkthrough right next to the download.
You underestimate my inability. I'm so bad.
It's not that I underestimate your abilities. I have a great amount of faith in you.
That's endearing and completely misplaced.
So for those of us who are oblivious, can you explain what GemFX does?
Okay, so GemFX is Reshade on steroids. So what GemFX...
What's Reshade?
Reshade is... Everybody knows what Reshade is. Wooden Potatoes did a story on it.
What if people don't... What if they're brand new to Guild Wars and they are listening to our podcast for the first time ever? Gord, you've got to be there for these people.
Oh, now the pressure's on. All right, so we'll start with Reshade. Reshade is a graphics injector, just like GemFX. I don't fully understand all the abilities of GemFX yet because I've only seen a couple videos and I haven't really gotten my hands on it. With Reshade, what you could do is you can change the way Guild Wars looks. You could do this with saturation effects. You can do this with... You can actually make Guild Wars look like Guild Wars 2 look like a cartoon. You could do sharpening. You could do more depth blur. You can add this effect called God lighting, where the sun is extra bright. So there's a lot of different things that you could do with it. The issue with Reshade is Reshade 3.0 was much better because Reshade would disable itself with multiplayer play because it did make a marked advantage to somebody playing a first-person shooter. But for a game like Guild Wars 2 and MMO, it doesn't really give any kind of advantage. It just makes everything on the screen look much better than the generic client can. So GemFX was a part of Reshade, but the person that made GemFX kind of scrapped that, let Reshade have it, and started with a brand new GemFX. And some of the effects that he was achieving was pretty freaking sweet. Smoothing out lines. So the advantage of that is you could turn off all your anti-aliasing in Guild Wars in the game and take all that, post-processing and all that stuff out of the Guild Wars 2 client and use GemFX, which just injects those same effects into the game. Basically, it will give you more frames per second in Guild Wars 2. So Guild Wars 2 can do less, and GemFX does all the work for it, but makes it look much prettier. So,
and we like pretty.
We do like pretty.
I like pretty.
I like pretty. So I'm excited to get my hands on it and play with it and see what it does.
Pretty.
Oh. All right, and another pretty exciting application is there's now a new API that allows you to see what's waiting for you in the Black Lion Trading Company's queue. So if you put something up, we all know you get the little red exclamation point on the Black Lion symbol. So you know something's there, but when you open up the window, it's just like you have one item for pickup. Well, maybe you're buying maybe it's one of 3 precursors that you're buying or whatever. This API now tells you what it is. So I thought it was pretty cool. It's kind of exciting, and we'll have a link to that in show notes as well.
Very interesting.
Excellent.
That's all the news. So the last thing that we have in the what we call news section is the WW update follow-up. Gallios and I both played for a week, and I really didn't want to do the WW review last show, but a lot of people were asking us to kind of break it down and stuff like that, so we decided to do it. But I wanted to give myself and Gallios some time to kind of follow up now that we've gone through a full week plus. So Gallios, start it off, buddy.
Well, first off, I don't want this to sound mean. I don't want this to sound bad because you know me. I don't like being mean. But I think it was just fine. I think it's just fine. Now, would I like to see some loyalty rewarding for those of us that have World v. Worlded since the dawn of time? Yes, I would like to see that. However, I think that a lot of folks are bent out of shape about how long it's going to take to do and to get the pips and so on. I don't want to say this because I'm enjoying the fact that more people jumped into World v World, but this was designed for World v Worlders. You know, the people that are getting angry I haven't seen really a lot of World v Worlders, like the core players that are getting upset about the reward system, other than the fact that we're not getting any loyalty for having been playing for so long. But so many people are upset about how fast the pips are coming and it's going to take so long because, God, this is going to sound so terrible, but you don't like playing World v World anyway. What are you doing? Like, why? If you hate it and it's a grind for you, then you shouldn't be doing it. And you shouldn't be in there. For people like me, the pip system is not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely not perfect. And there could be some adjustments made, but if you're playing World v World all the time, you don't notice it. I don't really count it. Like I hit silver and gold and platinum before I even know it, but I play it because I'm enjoying it, not because I'm grinding to an end point. So, you know, take that into account, guys. I mean, it was designed for those of us that are playing World v World on a consistent basis. And that's the one of the things that been bothering me with seeing a lot of the complaints on here. I think, you know, most other game modes have the reward system. World v World did not have a reward system other than he who can claim victory gets to shout the loudest. So, you know, this is now something for those of us who spend most of our time, not all of it, but most of my time is spent World v World because I enjoy it. So take that into account when you're looking at that, you know. And what really hurt my heart the other night was playing. It was late in the evening or early in the morning. I can't remember which, maybe a little bit of both. But, you know, I noticed that we had a tier 2 Bay that was getting attacked, and I put in team chat, you know, Bay is being attacked and we are outnumbered, you know, in the hopes that, you know, somebody would come and save it. And everybody started jumping my crap. And I got a little ticked off. Like, you know, I understand you want your freaking pips, but, you know, to get the most out of your pips, you need to be winning. And if we lose a T2, that is steps away from being a T3, you're a jerk off for being mad.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm playing World v World because I want to win. You know, excuse me for being a little bit selfish, but I wanted to win. Wow. And save the T3 and they can go away and we'll be outnumbered again on the map again. But save your tiered stuff. You know, if I wanted to freaking go and trade points, I'd go in EOTM. I don't go to EOTM. So anyway, that's my little rant. I'm over with it now. But it's going exactly the way I said it would go. It is now a week and a few days in, and there's no more queues.
Well, there is on reset, which is good.
Well, so you need it on reset.
But by Sunday, I got into the game on Jake Quarry. Now, that being said, I think where the bigger issue is in the lower population servers in tier 2 and tier 3 that are having constant queues because there's so many people with the server linking. So I think that's might be where that complaint is coming from. I don't think it's coming from.
It's very possible. Yeah, 1. That's a good point. Very possible.
So for that, I mean, that's a fair point. My only issue with my issue is not with the rewards. And I think a lot of what you said is true. I think that a lot of people may be complaining because these are very lofty goals, but the pip system has to be looked at. And it's a tough nut for ArenaNet to crack because how do you keep it engaging for the people that, like you said, that do WW all the time while keeping it engaging for brand new people wanting to come into the game? It should be a lofty goal, but it went from if you play 5 hours a day every day, you'll be done in 4 months with the back piece to, you know, people are playing and just to get to diamond is about 12 hours. It takes 12 hours to get to diamond at a base pip. That's without the outnumbered. and if you're low. So it's a crazy amount of time. It is a crazy amount of time to have to put into a game for a back piece or for armor. I don't think people are going to go for the armor. I think people want the back piece. So the big influx is going to be the back piece. And once that starts getting crafted, people are going to start leaving and the population is going to go down again. To ArenaNet's credit, they're trying to get people into the game mode, and it was successful. Of course, they have to put it out. They have to tweak it. You could complain about that, I guess, but you know what? I'm in your camp. I really don't care. I said in the opening, I split my time now. So I spend some of my time defending the server towards the end of NA Prime. When NA Prime is over, I will sit and find a guard that I can gank for as long as I could stay up in an outnumbered map. And I do have to say that right now you are rewarded more for ganking that guard and staying alive on an outnumbered map than you are for defending your garrison, for defending your tier 2 bay on another map. You know, any of that stuff. If you're doing that, you're probably only getting 5. You know, I'm getting 5 pips. That's 2 pips for my base and 3 pips for first place. So if we slip down to second place, I'm only getting 4 pips. I'm not hanging around very long for 4 pips. I'm just not. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm playing for. So I guess
No,
I have
I
it from a
understand.
different. Yeah, it's a different point of view for me because that's not why I play World v World. The pips are a bonus for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's. I get it.
They need to adjust.
I get it. It does need to be adjusted. I think they need to tweak it, but the question is going to be is how do you?
It's unfortunate
where
that
do you
they
go with it?
change. It's unfortunate that they're changing. You're right. Where do you go? But it's unfortunate that they're changing the loyalty pip to a commitment pip. And I think it's because everybody's like, you should give more than one, and started coming up with these good ideas for pips. If you really want to reward the WW player, one of our guild members has 600 skirmish tickets, almost 700 skirmish tickets already. And that's because he had about 500 tickets that he didn't turn in for seasons.
From tournaments.
Yeah. So seasons, you could have just went in and did dailies every day, got the meta achievement charged up, and you're good to go. If you didn't spend those tickets on anything, you're not in my opinion, the people that play WW the most should be the first people to get that stuff. That's how it should be.
I don't disagree with.
But how much resources do you want to dump in to finding out how long Gord played WW over the past 3 years because we want to make it fair? So they're in restrictions too. Mm-hmm. Where I'm at is I still love this update. This update did what it should. You can call it a Band-Aid, but this, what I'm calling it, is part 1. Because part 2 has to come. If part 2 doesn't come, part 1 fails and we go back to Ghost Town. That's what's in the future of WW. But it's a good step forward. The pip system's good. It brings it on par with the other things. They seriously need to adjust the pips. They really do. I mean, I don't mind working, but I don't have 12 hours in a week to play WW. And I'm going to go
under the assumption, I am going to be the Care Bear here. I'm going to go under the assumption that they are rethinking that. And I'm sure they're looking at it. It remains to be seen, but I think they're looking at it. I mean, I think they're going to listen. I don't know how they're going to fix it. That's going to be
but this is how ArenaNet works. They'll put it out there. They, brace themselves for the initial round of salt that's going to come. They wait for that to stop, and then they start listening to feedback. Because, I mean, I know I'm guilty of it sometimes, but whenever ArenaNet does something or changes something, there's just a salt storm. So then that salt has to settle down, and then they can start measuring the feedback to see, hey, this is what's really happening now. Now we're starting to hear the voices of everyone, and maybe it'll change in favor, maybe it won't.
Now that the sediment is filtered out, they listen to what's actually left.
Yeah. I mean, Levy had a good idea. He put out on Twitter today that he feels that once you max out the diamond tier, it should reset. So if I can do that if I could do that in 3 days and get up to T6 diamond, it would reset to wood, and it doesn't matter.
And then get the extra stuff and revolve it again.
I don't think
that's actually a good idea.
It's not a bad idea, but I don't think ArenaNet will go that way, because then there's a bunch of people out there that would just grind out the WW for the back piece, and as soon as they got everything they needed, they'd be done. So, that's what they have to fight. That's what they have to figure out, and that doesn't make it easy on them. They want to put out the stuff in the game, but when you have to consider the shortcuts that players will take in order to get the shiny as fast as they can, that makes things tougher. So it's not all on them. I would like to see them adjust the pips a little bit. I think maybe reduce the prices of the armor and the back piece by maybe 20%. I don't know. But it all depends on how much of the skirmish tickets you get. Even if it was, for wood, you get 3 skirmish tickets for the first chest, 3 for the second, 3 for the third, and then 10. That would be a big improvement as well. So they do need to look at the pips, or at least the rewards from the pip chest. But
yeah, and that's only fair.
Yeah, but everything else with the update's been great.
Right. Otherwise, I actually love it. I am not having a problem with it. Mm-hmm. And if you want to get your extra pips, just move. Here's a crazy one. Move to your home BL. Yeah. Go to your home BL. I mean, your home BL is usually empty.
Yeah, especially Desert Borderland. That one's always empty. That's the K-Train map.
It's crazy. It's if you want pips, go to your home BL. I know on JQ, I played for a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I went from wood to silver and almost maxed out silver in probably 45 minutes.
But see, I can tell you, Saturday night, I got in on an outnumbered map, and I went from, before reset, I went from T3 gold to T1 mithril in 90 minutes on an outnumbered map. Somewhere around there. Maybe 2 hours.
One part that'll make it discouraging.
And that's, and I'm just sitting there. Oh crap, it's decaying. Come here, sentry. Bang, you're dead. Oh, there's a Dolyak. You're dead. Run and hide back behind the tree I was hiding behind. That's what I did.
I still did my thing.
Hey, I killed the yak.
I found 4 people on the map, and we just kept going around, back capping our camps, because really that's all that they were doing, was taking our camps and hitting bay or whatever every once in a while. We just went back cap and then stopped the attack and etc. And I still had fun.
Well, I mean,
but that's me.
To each their own. I had fun killing that damn yak.
All right. Your yak slapper title yet?
Close.
I never realized I had gotten it. I kept killing yaks thinking I needed it, and somehow I'd already gotten it.
Well, it's not that hard to do.
It used to be hard to do.
Yeah, it was. All right, so that's going to wrap up the news. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. I'm handing the mic to Gallios.
So I've been put on the spot tonight because I will be your MC for the next section of SoTD. So what we're going to do tonight is have what may become a mini debate, what may be a lore or theory crafting discussion. But basically what we did is I went on Reddit and I found some topics for us to talk about tonight. And I'm going to propose these topics to Gord and Kora, and we're going to let them exchange pleasantries about the topics. I will be the mediator or the moderator.
Water bottle full.
Or the gate between the two, just in case.
He'll be the guy with the spray bottle saying retrench your corners.
That's right. My normal job, just very public at this point in time. So anyway, to get things started off, I'm going to start with one that is going to be fairly simple. It was a question posed on Reddit about the next expansion. as soon as I can get it pulled up here. Okay, question about the next expansion. Hey there, I've seen some people suggesting on Reddit to people that want to get in the game with the expansion that they should hold to buy hot because the next expansion is a couple months away. But since the pre-orders will come after episode 6, so maybe within a month, wouldn't these people get instant access to Core Hot and have lots of things to do till expansion arrives? And I chose this topic because it was touched upon very, very briefly in one of our previous episodes. And I wanted to see what you guys think about the next expansion, when it may be coming. What are your thoughts on what may be in it, etc., etc.? Now, this one I picked because it's very possible there could be some debating on what these guys think, because you both know Kora and you both know Gord. So I am going to turn the mic over to our first contestant, our first debater, and that will be Gord. Gord, can you tell us what you think is going to be coming up? And Kora, when he is done, I want you to give point, counterpoint if possible. Even if it just leads into a happy discussion, let's talk about it. Take it away, Gord.
See, I wish you didn't make me go first because I am a master debater. But
I knew that was coming. And I almost said it. I'm going to turn it over to the master debater.
All right. So,
Ew.
Anyway, this is a tough one for me because I am spoiled. Not as in, baby boy spoiled. I know the area. I know the big WoW item. So what I'm going to look at, what's coming in the expansion. Well, when is easy. We're about a month away from episode 6, I believe. 3 weeks to a month away, or at least getting an announcement that it's going to be delayed, which is a possibility. But if we are 3 months away, I'm going to stick with the end of October for our launch date. If the question was there as to whether or not they should buy Heart of Thorns now, I would advise against it, because you can start a free-to-play account, still buy a pre-order for the next expansion, and that may unlock everything once you pay for the expansion on a pre-order. So pre-orders would go on sale, I would assume, at the end of, it was relatively close to the end of episode 6. Once trailer comes out for the next expansion, that's when pre-orders usually open. So I would say hold off. Pay your pre-order and see what they do. ArenaNet sweetens the deal. So let's see what they're doing with the next one. And I wouldn't commit to buying Heart of Thorns yet. You might be able to save $25 on it. So what else is coming in the game? Honestly, I don't know. The PvE story is up in the air right now. We don't really know what's happening with the 6. We know that somehow they're involved, but we don't know at what extent, or even if Balthazar was really Balthazar, because the Scooby-Doo double reveal is still on the table. We do know where we're going, and it's unfortunate that I can't talk about that. I just posted that in our Discord today, that it's very unfortunate. As much as I enjoyed getting my fingers on the leaks when they came out, it really killed speculation in the community. So that part stinks. But I think we're going to get a new Fractal with the expansion. I think that we're going to get great story. And that doesn't mean how many hours of gameplay, because you can have great story in 3 hours of gameplay. You can have great story in 20 hours of gameplay. But I think we're going to have a great story to look forward to. Some other things to look forward to. But really, I see a new Fractal, maybe some new PvP maps, and some more WW upgrades. That's beyond what a lot of people know what's coming, and I'm not going to share that because some people don't want to be leaked, and I'm respecting that. So that's my thoughts on it.
Kora?
Okay, so the question was, should you buy the game now or wait? I definitely think you should start free to play, like Gord said. One, because if you're new to any game and there's a free to play option, find out if you really like the game. Play for free for a while. I can't imagine playing it and leveling and deciding, oh no, Guild Wars, meh. But I'm sure there are people out there who would buy it and play it and be like, oh, this just isn't for me. Like Black Desert Online. I shelled out the money to buy the game when it dropped for PC, and what was that, $50-$60? And I tried playing it for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, I'm not actually having fun, and really regret spending that $60. So I would say definitely start free to play to make sure this is a game you actually enjoy playing. Get through as much as, get through all the free to play that you can, and then if they haven't released pre-orders, if they haven't put anything out there for, oh yeah, you can just buy the next expansion that'll get you the core game and Heart of Thorns, like, if at that point you're really committed to, yeah, this is a fun game and I'm definitely going to want to play the next expansion, if you have the money, go ahead and drop the money, because it's supporting ArenaNet. And we always talk about the gem store, and we want you to support them and go buy the original game because that money goes to supporting them. If at that point you like the game, you're in, you're going to want the expansion pack, and you already want to play Heart of Thorns, buy Heart of Thorns, support ArenaNet, support the work they did for that expansion, and then play through Heart of Thorns, get caught up on that, get caught up on Living Story Season 3, and then you'll be ready to go when the next game drops. And then, yeah, you're paying more money, but again, you're supporting a game in a studio that you like. So if you are financially able to buy the two, I say go for it. If you're not financially able, then wait. I would say until we know for sure whether or not it's going to be available with all the with Core and Heart of Thorns and the new expansion, or if you're still going to have to do it both ways. So that's my response.
And what are your thoughts on what's coming, Kora?
Oh, and what's coming? That was the other question. Oh God, I'm going to start talking, and people, I think most of the community has either chosen to be spoiled or has accidentally been spoiled by people, and I have protected myself against spoilers with a religious zeal that is limited to just a few people in the world.
Yeah, I would say we can breeze past that.
Yeah, so yeah, anything I say, people are going to look at me and it's going to be wrong, and they're going to be like, Kora's ignorant. So
my only rebuttal to Kora's point is that the thing you have to consider is if you buy Heart of Thorns now, you're going to unlock episode 5 and episode 6 of the current Living Story. You're still going to have to go back and buy 4 episodes of it as well. If you want the bridge story for Heart of Thorns, you're going to have to buy all of Living Story Season 2, which I know Living Story Season 2 is $20. It would probably be about, I think, $8 for it. And I just think that if you had to eat that cost anyway, you might as well wait it out, because I think it's pretty safe to say, and we should know with the announcement of the expansion, but I think it's pretty much safe to say that when the new expansion comes out, Heart of Thorns and Core will be free with it. So that's my only thoughts on it.
And my thought just goes back to the same thing of, if you've got the money, support the studio. And if you've got the money and you really want to play the story now, you don't want to wait, then go ahead.
But you will have to buy character slots. You will have to buy inventory slots, because it's rough starting.
You don't have to.
Well, I do. Yeah, you're right. You don't have to.
Yeah. There's nothing in the gem store that you have to buy to make playing Corteria or Heart of Thorns more enjoyable or easier. There's nothing you have to buy.
Do either of you have anything further to add to this first question?
No.
Yeah, I'm good.
All righty then. Well, the next question I'm going to go with is actually going to be a little bit of a lore question, but I do want to see what you guys think. I don't know why it grabbed my attention, but I just thought it was a decent question. So the question is, what is Evan Nashblade's true agenda? So greetings, ladies and gents. I wanted to talk about Evan Nashblade's intentions looking at his background. As far as I understood it, he was part of an Ash Legion warband. that was supposed to subdue the pirates of Lion's Arch through some commerce trickery by making a trading company. He ended up killing his warband leader and thus founded the Black Lion Trading Company as we know it today. The question is, what's next? He was on a mission for the High Legions, but doesn't appear to be openly working for them anymore. What is his goal in the long run? Not to just make coin, apparently. So I would like to get you guys' thoughts on this. So this would be a speculation question. May lead to debate. I doubt it, but let's see what happens. And the first person I'm going to call on now is Kora. Give me your thoughts on Evan Nashblade.
I don't trust him. I don't trust any Char. God, you asked a good question. I did not vote for Evan Nashblade. So, and we know he's got a lookalike.
Told me you didn't, which is why I picked this question.
You're a jerk. Trying to find his lookalike. Okay, so we know there's Evan, I'm air quoting, Nashblade, who is another Char that you can find in the Inner Harbor in Lion's Arch. When you talk to him, you're like, "Oh, you look different than normal," and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the same guy." And then you mention like, "Oh, I thought I just saw you on the other side of the city," and he's like, that's because I have a new exercise regime and can move around more quickly." Yeah. And then you're like, "Are you just calling yourself Evan to get free drinks?" And he's like, "How dare you?" So he's either working with Evan Nashblade or he looks like him and he's just trying to get free drinks. But yeah, we do know he had towed the line. He was by all means a good Char, and then suddenly something happened to him, or maybe I'm like, part of me is like, let's go way out there. He is Flame Legion spy. He's a sleeper cell. And that's why he was trying to manipulate the Black Lion, the economy, and wanted to be on the council for Lion's Arch because he wants to destabilize the economy of Tyria. Yeah, I'm going to go with that theory because it's way out there.
That's awesome.
Okay. I just came up with it.
I've done worse.
Nice. So, Gord,
okay.
Like, do you have a rebuttal? Like, you have some thoughts? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think you voted for Evan Nashblade.
I did vote for Evan Nashblade, but not so much for Evan Nashblade as much as the damn Abaddon fractal that we never got, because I didn't care that Scarlet blew up the Thaumanova reactor. But anyway, if I recall correctly, Evan Nashblade is a thief. His profession was thief. He did kill his legionnaire and took over the warband and started the Black Lion Trading Company. Now, I don't think his motivations are purely for Char. If they were, then he might be funneling money back or laundering money maybe back to the Black Citadel to fund the war machine. The only issue with that is that there really isn't a war machine. The Char have really just decided to fight the Ghosts and the Flame Legion at this point. They're not looking to conquer Kryta. They're not looking to conquer Or and conquer all these other places like they were in the past. So really the Char's militaristic background is still there, but they really don't have a war campaign. The biggest war campaign was Ebonhawk.
Ebonhawk.
Yeah, that was the real war. That's when they probably needed money because they were constantly setting up soldiers. They had to feed those soldiers. They had siege machinery there to to keep the siege in place on Ebonhawk. And that's done now since the beginning of the game. So if Evan Nashblade is in charge of any or is doing anything for the Char, he's funneling money back to the Char to kind of finance the war machine. I think Evan Nashblade is an opportunist. He took the opportunities that came by as they did. So he killed his commanding officer, the Legionnaire, done, and he just started the Black Lion Trading Company. And that's his thing.
And do you agree with his motives?
Yeah. I mean, his motives are providing suitable services and little minis and costumes and whatnots for us Tyrians. So,
Kora, do you have a rebuttal?
I don't trust Char. And I just think it would be really interesting if it came out that somehow he's Flame Legion and has just been hiding his hate for all other races so well. But I doubt that that's actually a thing. But I just am like, that would be funny. Let's throw that out there. I think, yeah, chances are he's probably is just very concerned with what Evan Nashblade wants, which stinking Char.
It could be. I mean, he could. So it could be either way. He could be working for the Black Citadel, but what would the Black Citadel's interest be in?
I didn't say Black Citadel. I said Flame Legion.
Well, you said Flame Legion. I say Black Citadel because I.
Do you not know that those are two different things?
Yes, I do. I don't believe he is anywhere involved in the Flame Legion. I'm calling BS on your theory.
Okay. Sorry, I was getting confused. I thought you were talking like they were the same thing. I'm like, they are not the same thing.
I rejected your theory and substituted it with my own.
Whatever. And they're both there. I mean, yours is probably more right. But I like mine better.
I like yours better too. It's out there.
Yeah.
Wow. Good stuff.
Yeah.
There are some who are thinking he's trying to overthrow Keel and claim the rightful spot at the captain's council, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And he should.
So,
I mean, that's a given.
One speculation is that he wants to gain the council's trust and seize the throne to be the rightful leader of Lion's Arch. What do you guys think about that?
There is no throne in Lion's Arch.
There's no throne, but I mean, like, if we're talking mayor or like.
Yeah,
Commodore. It would be Commodore.
The air quote throne.
Yes.
Then yeah, I can totally see him wanting to lord over Lion's Arch, but I mean that would be like an interesting living story right there if he's like battle for Lion's Arch again. But I don't see it happening because it would be like, okay, well then what do? Do you kill him off because we're basically having like a tiny civil war in Lion's Arch and he started it and have Ellen win? Well, then the people who really like Evan, like if you kill him off, they're going to be mad. And if you kill off Ellen Keel and like put Evan in charge, well, we voted her in. I'm sorry, people, like majority rules, we voted her in.
But beyond that, I think the way they took it in lore is that Ellen Keel outsmarted Evan Nashblade, and I think she will always outsmart Evan Nashblade because as much as, I mean, it's not that I don't like her character, I just think that she is a very smart woman and is always going to be 3 steps ahead of Evan. Even though I adore Evan and I voted for him, he'll never beat Ellen.
Yeah. She's cunning.
Yeah.
She's a politician.
She's more cunning than a Char. Is what it
She's a
comes down
politician.
to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Char is okay. Char is the battering ram knocking at the door. Like all he knows is sort of the blunt force approach. That is Char. Mm-hmm. Like they don't know they don't know how to play the game. They don't have time for that. Like they'll just break your wrist to get what they want. Ellen Keel is a human, and us humans know how to game the system. We know how to be cunning. We know how to say one thing and mean another. We know how to say one thing and do something else. And I think that adds a little bit to her. And then, yeah, I mean, she's a woman. She looks smaller. You look at her and she compared to a Char, she's no threat. Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she is. The other thing too is that I would say that Evan Nashblade is more concerned with taking out the consortium, his direct competition, than he would be with overtaking Lion's Arch. I don't see any kind of method. There'd be no greater reward for him, no additional monies. Maybe he had some other things or whatever, but I think his original intent was, the Warband's original intent was to infiltrate Lion's Arch and kind of take it over for the Char, but that's by the wayside, in my opinion. Agreed.
All right. Well, that was an interesting conversation. So, the next, I guess, Reddit post I want to bring up is more for me, I think, than anything else. This may or may not become a debate. I doubt it'll become a debate because there's so little, I guess, known about it. But I'm curious. I want my own questions answered. And it's going to be about the Wizard's Tower. So it's almost 5 years now, even much longer if you also played GW1, that there is this floating tower, also known as the Wizard's Tower. Looks a lot like a castle to me. But besides speculation and some little information from short NPC dialogues like the new owner is Garen, we know nothing about it. Do you think we will ever go to the tower or at least get more information? It would be nice if an ANET member could at least tell us if they're even interested in making something with the tower ever. And so that being said, I think I'm going to actually go with Kora again to start this. Yes. And I'll give Gord the rebuttal. Kora, okay. Go ahead.
If you had asked me year one of the game what the plan would have been, I would have instantly said it's going to be a dungeon. It's going to be a dungeon. It's going to be a living story season. Now, looking at where the game has gone, I'm thinking best case scenario, we get it as a raid. That would be the whole next raid thing, which means I will never see it. I see it coming in as a raid, best case scenario. It would be a full raid wings, blah, 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 blah. Which sucks because I hate that lore is hidden behind an area that I cannot access, that a lot of people aren't going to access because raiding is hard and you've got to get your stuff together and you got to have a good team. Just like we saw in this last raid with Sal D'Alessio. Like that, I did not even know he was in there. But I see it coming in as a raid at this point in Guild Wars 2. If it was connected at all to Living Story, to expansions, that would be great. But I don't know that they would. I don't know that they have to, because dungeons and dungeon paths don't always connect 100%. Like, they take place within the timeline, but like you can play them sort of whenever and they still always fit. But I see it coming in as a raid. I think there's definitely people at ArenaNet that want to work on it. It is a well-known piece of lore coming back from the original game. It is such an interesting area within the world that we have right now that I don't see them not wanting to work on it, but it's just a matter of, within the grand scheme of things, does it benefit the game? Does it benefit the story? Does it benefit the studio? Or would it just be like, hey, yeah, we just randomly want to work on this thing that has no connection at all to the story that we're currently trying to tell? And that's the problem. If it doesn't have any connection to where the story is, the main plot is going, I don't know that the team who would want to work on it can make the justification for it. Or if they pitch it, whoever, in that meeting is going to go, yeah, that would be cool, but like that raid has nothing to do with the expansion or the Living Story season we're actually working on. So we'd rather have you do a raid over here involving X, Y, and Z.
That's it.
But Wizard's Tower is by and large my favorite.
Well, just to throw a little something in, I'm looking at the Reddit posts here, and apparently Peter and Josh were talking about it on a stream. And so Ruby was asked about it by another Reddit poster at breakfast during the anniversary event. And apparently Peter likes bringing it up because he knows everybody is rabid about it. So just to throw that onto the fire. But Gord, what are your thoughts, buddy?
My thoughts are the Wizard Tower is just like Malik. It's just there, and that's it.
Drop storyline.
No, I didn't even think it was a drop storyline. I think...
Well, that's what Malik was.
Well, Malik was a drop storyline, but, that's kind of like everybody gravitates to that. Like, I want more Malik, and there's nothing more for Malik. There was never anything for the Wizard's Tower. Guild Wars 2 was very good about bringing bits and pieces of Guild Wars 1 into Guild Wars 2. The only thing is that they didn't line up the Wizard Tower in Guild Wars 2 where it was in Guild Wars 1. So they added the little bit of lore for Isgaren, who somehow moved it to the southeastern edge of Keswick's hills. That doesn't mean that they're never going to use the Wizard's Tower, but I really think that it was just another kind of Guild Wars 2 tie-in to Guild Wars 1 to give people that sense of familiarity for who played Guild Wars 1, and that's really all it was meant to be. I don't think that they've ever really had any story that they wanted to put into the Wizard's Tower, and I think that's why Peter Fries trolls us with it.
Okie dokie. Kora, I see you shaking your head no. What do you have to say about that?
I see that they put it, okay, it moved its location within lore because when the Tengu fled Kantha into Tyria and they built their homeland, they started building their wall, and it was too close to the Wizard's Tower, and they're kind of aggressive jerks to everybody else. And the wizard wants to do some mysteriously not good things and kidnap people. You don't want to be around this super secretive, highly armed race. You want to be a little more secluded where you can kidnap people with ease. So, and it's a giant floating tower. Like, it's magically floating. If you can magically float a tower, moving it, a few hundred miles to the west is not that hard. You don't even have to put wheels on it or the little moving blocks under it to slide it on carpet. It's already floating.
It could be floating on a ley line.
Breeze.
Yeah.
Just create a breeze.
It could be floating on a ley line.
Could be floating on a ley line. So moving it within lore there was a reason for that. If it behind the scenes was because they went, oops, we didn't actually put it in the right spot, whatever. But within lore, they moved it for a reason. I think that it is one of the best and most subtly built areas of the world. Like, the world building around that map is genius. Like, that you go in and you hear these NPCs talk about, oh, thank God the wizards protect us, and they've got these elementals that the wizard has made to protect us, and oh, but we hear mysterious screams at night, and the people who go off to like train at the Wizard's Tower, we never see them again. And there is an Asura lab there that you see in use within one of the personal storylines, but if that's not the personal storyline you're playing, there's never Asura there. The lab is set up, you can go in and you can look at it, but there's never an Asura. And I think that there is so much potential for story that you don't do that unless you're planning to use it down the line. So I think originally they were planning to do something with it. I think that probably has changed. And that's where I'm saying, like, now I don't know if we're ever going to see what that original plan was, but I could see, at least as a raid, if they can find a way to make it connect with other things. I know Peter Fries likes to troll. He trolls me all the time. Hello, Peter. iTunes told you you're old.
That's just not nice.
Shame on you, Kora.
Did you not see his post today? He was like, oh, I logged into iTunes to get recommendations of what it thinks I would like, and it was like dad rock. And I just died. I was like, iTunes just told you you're old. So if he can troll me, I control him back a little bit. So I think he does have fun with it. I think it's also he has fun with it because he likes the area. Mm-hmm. I think if they gave him, if the command came down from on high, hey, go write something up for it, he'd be all over it and do it justice.
I think so too.
It's just that map.
I think he would totally eat that up alive.
Yeah. It's just a matter of, just because you're the writer or the narrative person and you've got ideas about what you want to do doesn't mean anything, because it's not your game. You're not the only person creating the decisions. So you could pitch as many ideas as you want for a thing. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. But I think there are people at the studio who would, 100%, they would love to be all over that. So I just don't know. Like I said, I hope, even though I'm not a raider yet, I hope we at least get it in game as a raid, because then I can at least watch other people play it and go on the wiki and read about it.
Personally, I would like to see a little bit of something of that too. I just think it's pretty interesting. Gord, anything else for you?
I think the only way that asset will be used is if a raid idea comes up that fits that environment. I'm going to stand on my position. I don't know that they always had a plan for Wizard's Tower, and I've always thought of it as just kind of the here's
Just a
another Guild Wars
backdrop.
1 tie-in. Maybe they could use it, maybe they will use it, but I doubt that was when they dropped this into Guild Wars 2. I just don't think that they had anything for it. But I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time.
I think it was put in there with the intention of something will eventually get done with it, like a dungeon. I mean, I think the original intent was with dungeons was we're not just going to have these 5 dungeons with the multiple paths. We'll be adding new dungeons over time, and they'll have new paths. And we got the Twilight Arbor got 1 new path, and then I mean, dungeons kind of fell away because they were like, we don't know what we're doing with them. Which I love the dungeons. I want dungeons to come back and be an actual thing. But they would require a dungeon team, and I just don't see them doing that. But I think there was a plan for at least to have it be a dungeon with paths.
And that would work, yeah. And you know what? Yeah. Where they failed with dungeons in Guild Wars 2 was that they tried to use dungeons to tell the story. And that does make it interesting, but what they're not real. I mean, what it comes down to is they could do random dungeon that don't really have to tell the story, but that's what fractals are. So I think that's kind of where they were. So we might see it. But like you said, it's more likely to be in a raid now than anything else. And maybe they did have some story for it, but I always took it as just another one of those cool things that you saw in Guild Wars 1 that now you see in Guild Wars 2. So
excellent. So we were gonna call this at probably about 3 of these, but since we have a little extra time,
we get a bonus.
I'm gonna do a bonus one, and let me tell you, it's really hard to choose some of the ones I picked. Now, to make it fair, I tried not to pick anything that required the players to be just focused on a certain game mode, i.e. PvE or World v World or raids or whatever, because that would make the debate uneven. So what I did is I did pick. This is just going to be a, I guess an opinion question more than a debate question. But a Reddit poster asked, "How is the PvE end game?" And the question is as follows. I remember playing it long ago before it was free to play, but left because the end game was just cosmetics without stats. Did it change? You get dungeons with nice gear now. What activities are there? Thanks for your time. I think the way I want to change this up is, what do you guys think about the PvE end game? Like, is there enough there? Do you feel like it's worth still playing after you've already completed the story and just the PvE modes? You know, so think about things like the dungeons, think about things like the raids, think about things like fractals, etc., etc. What are your thoughts? Like, what do you guys think about the end game content, things to do after you've completed the story? And I'm going to let Gord go first this time.
Well, I'm just going to say, since launch, endgame has never been cosmetic. I think that the PvE story ends, yes, but when that story ends, there's still 100% map completion to do. There's still legendaries that you could go for. There's still WW out there. There's still PvP out there. There was multiple dungeon paths that you could do, and the introduction of fractals. I think fractals were introduced after the first year, I want to say, or maybe a year and a half of the game. Living Story had started up, and, you know, they tried a lot of things with Guild Wars 2, and a lot of things did fail, but I don't understand how anybody could ever say that the end game was cosmetic. Yeah, there's no gear grind, there's no additional levels after 80, you know, but there's plenty to do. You know, there's a maximum, I think, of 34,000 achievement points right now that don't just give you points and titles, it gives you items, and it gives you an achievement, an armor set that's locked behind getting these achievements. I don't think that the end game was ever just cosmetic. It may not have been traditional MMO style, but Guild Wars 2 was marketed prior to launch as a non-traditional MMO. So there's that. Endgame now has improved since, we'll say, year 2, year 3. Well, year 2. You hear a lot of people complain about content drought and everything else, and from Heart of Thorns to Living Story, chapter 3, there was quite a bit of content drought. We went months without getting stuff, and I don't think that period should define ArenaNet at all. I think that the way you need to look at it now, whether you agree with the system or not, whether you like the story or not, the game is changing again, and it's evolving. And over the past year, what I've seen has been good changes since Living Story Season 3 started. I'm not going to say I loved every bit of it, and I'm not going to say that I love the story, but it keeps you logging in. And there's plenty to do in this game. I've never understood, even during the content drought, I went back and was doing Living Story Season 2 achievements. I'm still going back doing Living Story Season 2 achievements now. So in my opinion, there's plenty to do. Maybe not chasing gear. Well, you can't even say that now, because with raids, you're chasing legendary armor. Whether you like the look of it or not, there's no reason not to have legendary armor. Just for the simple fact that you can trade stats and sigils, I don't think you get your infusions back, but as far as the other stuff, your runes, you can pull them out and you don't lose them. So, and you can swap the weapon stats on the fly. So why not try and get that? Become a raider, improve your skill in the game by raiding, and just keep going. I mean, that's where I'm at. That question kind of boggles my mind, because I've never seen the end game as cosmetic. But I guess the short answer would be it has improved slightly, but is just as good as it's ever been.
And thank you, Gord, because you took it exactly where I was hoping you would take it. So well done. Kora, being a lore specialist.
Yeah.
Being a lore specialist, is there any other reason to play outside of the story that they take you through? So could you fill us in on what you're missing if you don't pay attention?
Oh, so much. There's so many tiny details. Replaying the story. If you only go through once and you go through with the idea of like, I'm just churning this out, I'm getting the thing done as quickly as I can because I want to get to end game, then you're missing a lot of details. You're missing so much. Being able to go through and replay, you pick up on things, sometimes subtle, sometimes callbacks to previous seasons, to Guild Wars 1. That's why I regret that Living Story Season 1 isn't replayable. It's not downloadable. Is because there was so much there that when it was during that time of like, oh my god, it's every 2 weeks and then it's gone and I have to play it, that stuff happened that I played through so fast that I don't remember. So the ability to go back and replay story chapters helps cement what's actually going on in the story in your mind, and like I said, you get to pick up those details. But aside from the story, aside from you can churn through it as fast as you want, go back and play it slower and pick up on things. Aside from story, there is, like Gord said, there is so much there that even going through and doing the achievements, I have never been focused on achievements. So I'm just now going back through and starting on Living Story Season 2 stuff and Corteria stuff and going like, oh, I guess I'm going to work on getting this. And it's fun. If you're going through the game so fast to get to end game and then going, oh, well, it's content drought. Like, are you sure, like Gord said, like, are you sure you've done 100% of everything? Like, there is nothing in the game at all for you to work on. And maybe for them, it's like, well, that's not stuff that I want to work on. Well, if you don't want to work on it, you don't want to work on it, but you can't say that there's not stuff there. For me, I really just have fun wandering the maps. I go in with a character and I go and I work on saying I'm going to clear this map. For map completion and get all my points and wander around and listen to the ambient dialogue that's happening.
I was just going to say that. You totally took I was just going to say, even if you just went and listened to the ambient dialogue,
oh yeah,
it's worth it.
There is a Tumblr account, and I can't not think of what it's called right now, but it is dedicated to recording the ambient dialogue within Guild Wars 2. And so you can go on there, and there's been they've done screen captures, and they've closed captioned what it is that they're saying, and some of it is hilarious. Mm-hmm. There is a couple of NPCs that talk in Divinity's Reach, and one of them talks some smack about Queen Jenna, and it's hilarious. So there's some pretty funny dialogue that's out there, and then there are like little things that just wandering around you'll find.
Read the gravestones.
Read the gravestones.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a frozen book that I forget. I cannot remember right now where it is, but that's a callback to some Guild Wars 1 stuff. You can find the book. There is the mini dungeons, essentially. There's one there's so much there to just wander around, have fun taking screenshots and see what cool things are out there. Go help other players, just wander around. Like, oh, you see a down player, just go res them. Don't run past them. There is a lot of stuff that you can do. And I have friends. I have the guildmates who I was talking about at the beginning of the show who all jumped ship and went to Black Desert Online because, quote unquote, content drought. Well, there's nothing to do in Guild Wars 2. We were all just grinding for just grinding the world boss train or just grinding fractals.
Grinding is fishing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They talk about getting in Black Desert Online and fishing, and they're sailing, and I'm like,
I was like, what the hell is Gallios talking about fishing?
What is it? What kind of thought process went into fishing?
And the fact that some people are so obsessed with it, I'm like,
where's the imagination?
Don't want to fish in my video game.
That's not fair.
And and if they like it, that's fine. But for me, it was not what interests me. It was not at all what interests me. And like the way that you can like have your character fishing while you're sleeping, I was like, then I'm not playing the game. So what's the point? The point is me getting in game and running around and finding things and doing things and going like, okay, maybe I've got to quote unquote grind to get my crafting leveled up, or I need, mats of whatever to craft a thing. You don't have to go with the like, okay, well, I'm only going to hit the farms and I'm only going to grind these enemy. Like, just go wander the map.
Yeah.
And have
And to put
fun.
A quick disclaimer in, I'm sorry to cut you off, Kora. I'm going to let you continue.
Yeah. No.
But just a quick disclaimer. This is not to downplay any other game. It's a comparison only. And these are just opinions based on the way we play. So
if you like Black Desert Online, Black Desert Online is a beautiful looking game. Graphics wise, oh my God. Holy cow. It's great. Some of them fighting mechanics I really enjoyed. I really wanted to like the game. Oh man, was that story terrible. And the localization that they did, and I had people in the guild that were like, we're tired of hearing you complain about it. It's not that bad. It's great. Once you get past a certain, 30 hours in, it's fine. I'm like, okay, let's just review that opening cutscene where they actually cut out more than half of the original cutscene that you can see in the Japan or Korean version, and they relocalized it into a completely different story badly. And I can say that because I've worked as a localization editor on games. So as a professional, I can say this was done terribly. Oh no. So, and then coming from the lore side of it, like every part of me, it was like nails on the chalkboard of my soul. And then you compare that to Guild Wars 2, where, okay, yeah, you didn't get new story drops for a while, but the story that does exist is well done. So, like, what would you rather have? Something that's constantly pushing out new updates of bad story.
Well, but I just want to say too. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, go ahead, Gord. Go ahead.
I just want to say too that we touched on this with the Rising Flames review that we did, where it seems like their narrative team is getting more to like a Netflix model, where you're gonna have constant story. Yeah, maybe you're getting an hour's worth of story every 3 months, but you're getting constant story,
in-depth story.
It's highly polished content. It brings a map, and that's always been my thing. What I look forward to most in Guild Wars 2 was getting into the unknown areas, the places that we never played in Guild Wars 1. And there are some areas, and I never really realized it till I looked at that shaman's historical guide. There are some places where we have never been in Guild Wars 1, but I wanted to get more onto the eastern end of the Tyrian continent where Utopia was supposed to take place. I wanted to see some of the other islands, and probably one of the most exciting moments for me in the game was seeing that map texture pulled out with Crichton, Crichton writing, new Crichton writing all over it. That was exciting because I would like to get to those parts of the map at some point. So,
yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I love that there are places on the map that we haven't gone. And one thing is where every now and then they do some adjustments on the map of where lands actually are. That's a thing that still happens to this day. I mean, go Google Lost Islands and or like disappeared islands, and just within the past decade, I mean, I cannot remember what it's called, but it's on all the old maps until the past. I mean, from like centuries ago, decades ago, to really recently, there is this significant island that is on the map. It's named. It's on all the maps. And then somebody finally got in a boat and went to go to the island, and they got to the GPS location and went, huh, we're in the middle of the ocean. There is nothing here. So,
wow.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and we have satellites from space that they look down, and you would think we would have
there was
perfect
a satellite
maps.
Photo of that island that you're talking about.
Yeah,
and I would just say that you can't think of everything. When they launched this game, they started developing this game in 2007. So they probably, you would think that they probably had map environments for the majority of the continent that they planned on us playing on by 2010. You can't plan for everything. And I think we would all agree that at some point they were probably about 95% done when they released, because they were told they had to release, in my opinion. There's nothing, I have nothing written or stated to back that up, but when you look at this stuff, you can see some of the stuff got cut a little short in core, So at any rate, back to the original question, there's plenty to do, and there's even more to do now. I mean, just building a fractal character can take months to tune it, get your ascended gear, get through your fractal crawl, and get up into the higher tiers where it's more rewarding. Now, it's not more rewarding every single time you go, but that can take months of endgame time on your own. So that's where I'm at.
Well, guys, I'm glad I asked that question. It was actually going to be the first question, but I decided that I would take a chance and see if we could save it for last. I think it was a really good discussion on this last piece. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. So thank you guys for going down the paths I totally expected you to go down. Perfect. So it makes me look good, I guess. But anyway, that's really all the questions I'm going to pose tonight. But I do feel like I need to do something that I didn't do, and that's go back and give credit to those folks who actually posed the questions on Reddit, just in case. I don't know what any legalities are, but for the one that we just went over, that was posted by Lovefully Coon. That was the question about the next expansion. The question about endgame was posed by Rohade or Rohad. Hope I don't butcher that name too bad. The question about the Wizard's Tower was Barando96. And the question about Evan Nashblade was introduced by Introductor. So just in case, I wanted to make sure that credit was given for the questions originally posted on Reddit. And if there's anything you'd like us to cover, let us know. Maybe we can do more of these in the future. And I can do a better job at moderating. So
you did a great job. What are you talking about? You are awesome.
All that being said, thank you guys for making this fun, Gord and Kora. I know you probably wanted to debate a little bit harder, but the only way I could do that was to introduce leakage, and that's not going to happen.
Nobody likes leakage.
Yeah, nobody wants leakage.
If you have that problem, you should really see a doctor.
That's right. So anyway, that's all I got, guys. And that'll do it for the end of this segment. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you momentarily.
Now we're back. Did a great job.
That was fun.
Yeah, so fun. I forgot to mute. Unmute. All right, so that's going to do it for the show. Yeah, so don't forget we recorded this early. So we missed if there's a news day tomorrow, we're just not going to cover it until the next show. So that's that. So Gallios, do we have any shout outs?
I don't have anything in particular to SoTD podcast, but I do want to make a really, really big shout out to some Mog Nation leadership. I know most of you probably don't know who these guys are, but I don't care. I want to make a big shout out to Cash, our founder of Mog Nation, and JB. They showed up at my brother's wedding. It was totally unexpected,
Aww.
Totally crashed. And I thought it was the most cool, the coolest thing ever for them to come all the way. They came all the way from California and Indiana and came for an hour and a half just to see my brother get married, which I thought was absolutely above and beyond what any kind of community leadership is responsible for. So I want to give a shout out to those two guys. And now you guys can see why I belong to Mog Nation.
Yeah.
And that's the shout out I got.
All right. That's a great shout out. And congrats to Scuba Steve.
Scuba.
All right, Kora.
Congrats. My shout out is to Token, who I am currently drawing and have been drawing this entire podcast.
And it looks good, Token. You are not gonna believe how good it looks.
So I made so Token gifted me the Lissa's mirror and was the one that gave me all the gold that I was like, I don't know who gave me this gold. Same night I got the Lissa's mirror, but I was so focused on the mirror that the gold came in and I was like, yeah, whatever, pretty. And then Token was like, yeah, that was me. Sorry. So I've owed them a drawing of their character, and they sent me some screenshots, and I was like, it's not the best. I can't really see like details, which are kind of important to make a really good drawing. So I finally got around to making an EU account, free to play EU account, so that I could hop in and take some screenshots of Token. And I spam my screenshot button, and I got like around 500 screenshots that I had to then sort through. And I asked, do you want me to send you a few and you can pick the pose you like, or do you want me to surprise you? And they said surprise. So I went through and I narrowed it down.
You're going to be so surprised. It looks so good.
I narrowed it down to my favorite, and I can even show you guys, and we can talk about it, and they'll hear Token will hear and be like, oh. So that's the screenshot I'm working from that you guys can see.
Dang, Token, that's pretty hot. I needed you to design a character for me.
And this is the drawing, and I've taken like 2 very close-ups of like what you can't even tell what I'm doing, but she saw like the arm, the faux fire arms. So she knows those are in, but she doesn't know what the pose is. They don't know anything about it. And as you can see, it's not a small drawing. Like, here's my head for reference. And it's coming out. I'm very happy with how it's coming out. There's a part of me that's like, oh man, if shipping this from the United States to the EU didn't cost so much, I'd totally ship this to them because I think they would really enjoy it.
I'll pay for it.
Yeah, GoFundMe. Yeah. I'll throw in.
Do a GoFundMe. We'll take care of it. Get it done.
Token, you might be actually the first person to get an actual physical drawing and not just the digital.
There is no might. There is only do. Do a GoFundMe and we will take care of it.
All right. So that's gonna happen then.
We'll talk about that after. But
yeah, so this is coming along very well, and I just wanted to say thank you, Token, for being awesome. So, yeah, that's my shout out.
That's a very good shout out.
Excellent shout out.
I don't think I have a shout out.
So, Gord.
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't think I have a shout out.
No shout outs?
No, not this week.
No shout outs for Gord this week.
Oh, no. You know what? I do have a shout out. And it's Gallios' shout out from last time, Smiley IV or Smiley 4. He is the best, one of the best DBL commanders I've ever seen. And he has given me and Pockland some very nice trebbing and catapulting spots in the Desert Borderland, as well as some alt paths.
Nice.
So he was hanging around and helping us. He was actually helping us out.
We might need to invite him to Mog.
No, he's with Zod.
Oh, he's with Zod?
Yeah, he's with Zod. So he's squared away. But I ran with him for 2 hours the other night, and I had a lot of fun. He knows that Desert Borderland like the back of his hand, or she, because it could be she. Smiley is well, not ambidextrous, so I guess it would be
gender neutral.
That's the one.
Which is why I was like, I'm pretty sure Token is female. Am I right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know.
He taught me how to curse in Swiss.
I assume everybody's female.
That's
like
fine.
You're female. Until I met you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh,
Gord
he's
is
not.
very
feminine. Gord was totally
Gord
female
the Slayer.
before you met him.
Yeah, Gord the Slayer is very, very feminine. Anyway, so Gallios. If the good people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
They can get in touch with me at Gallios_GW2 on Twitter. They can get in touch with me in Discord at Gallios #3334. Or if you want to hit me up in game and do some World v World or just about anything, it's Gallios.8142. Send me a message and I will do my utmost best to accommodate.
Boom. Kora?
You can find me on Twitter at Guildlores. I'm also on Instagram at Guildlores and Discord at Guildlores and basically all the social media at Guildlores. Ta-da!
Because she's punny.
I am punny. I'm also, I think I'm getting
so
high off
punny.
of this Sharpie.
Yeah,
Can you
I think
tell?
so. Yeah, you're doing your little dance. All right, so if you want to get in touch with this show, you can reach us at sotdpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at SOTD_podcast. And you can find everything else about the show and the site and posts and downloads and all of the goings-ons on SoTDpodcast.com. If you want to follow me, you can if you want to reach me, you can follow me on Twitter at Gord the Norn. You can hit me up on Discord at Gord #4133. And you can always reach me in game at Gord.8654. And if you want to join our Discord, everybody is welcome. The link is in the show notes, so come on in, have some fun. I think that's
the
gonna
water's
do it.
fine.
The water is fine, toasty warm.
It's like a hug. It's like a warm, watery hug.
It's like somebody just peed in the pool right next to you.
It is not. It's like sitting in a hot tub. You're dirty.
I couldn't help it.
Grody.
That is gross.
Grody.
Don't pee in the pool, kids. All right, say goodnight, everybody.
Warm shower. Good night,
Good night, everybody.
Okay, now we're back.
Okay.
We're recording. And I will edit it to make it make sense.
I screwed everything up.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Everything stops right now.
But you gotta hear my cute ringtone.
Yeah.
It's the Star Locket from Sailor Moon.
That's good.
My text tone is the Power Rangers communicator alert.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so we can kind of breeze past
next question.
The expansion, unless there's something you want to add.
No.
Okay, so let's we'll edit it, Gord, to where I'm gonna just ask, do you have anything further to discuss?
Okay, well, you got to kind of say that again because that was really
I will.
bad. Okay.
I will. I was taking my dramatic 2-second pause to give you time to edit.
And I was doing my part that you and Kora usually do, which is just talk during your 2-second break.
Oh, God.